All right, we are live. Go ahead, Moku.
Show.
Well, I don't know, but I've been told. I don't know, but I've been told. Vote for freedom goes for the gold. Vote for freedom goes for the gold. Fighting for you so you don't quit. Fighting for you so you don't quit. When it comes to your dreams, we take no shit. Comes to your dreams, we take no shit. Watch our show, you'll realize. Watch our show, you'll realize. Four of us are regular guys. Four of us are regular guys. Sound off. 1, 2. Sound off. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
3, 4.
Yeah. We are live. Bring it to us, J Boom.
Woo! Much appreciation, Vidal, throwing some images together there for us for that trailer. I tell you what, we're going. Oh, I'm pumped. A little extra, I think, for tonight's episode with the fellas because we're going deep on discipline on this episode. If you caught our last episode, we were talking about back in the day when we had our 80s hair band stuff going on, our back in the day hip hop. We were just having a blast, just bringing the blast from the past, and we had a lot of fun, and we always do have a lot of fun. But we wanted to, I know, like with President's Day today, we just started thinking about the men and women who have served our country and have allowed us to have, presidents that are in charge of a country that give us complete freedom to be entrepreneurs like we all are, Vidal, Moku, Eddie, and myself. And we thought, you know what, we're going to rock our camos, and we're going to talk about how in the military and the armed forces, the aspect of discipline is way beyond just getting your to-do list done. So we're going to drop some special Navy SEAL type level strategies and tactics that we have used or learned about and are looking to implement ourselves and share that with you. And we're going to go deep about the importance of discipline and how if you're going to really win big, like we all four of us are planning on, real shortly, we know our discipline has got to be to another whole level. So I'm going to introduce the fellas. Eddie said I don't need to start with him. So I'm going to start with Moku. And what is up, brother? How you feeling on a Monday, getting ready to get all militarized?
Boom. Doing good, my friend. Thank you, man. Thank you, everyone. Thank everybody for joining again for Freedom. And like J Boom said, we're just going to bring the discipline side and kind of relate that to the military. Like J Boom said, the military is a disciplined place from time you go to boot camp to throughout your career, whatever you're in the Army, Air Force, Marines, Navy. They're all disciplined, and they all have that mindset that they go through their goals every day, and they get their jobs done. And J Boom said, as an entrepreneur, that's the same kind of mindset we have to have. We have to discipline our mind and set a goal and keep working and going towards that goal until we finish it. So I'm pumped today. We're going to show you guys a lot of things. We're going to give you guys a lot of leadership skills, discipline skills, and rock it out, buddy. So thanks.
Nice. Moku. Next up, we got Vidal up there in Wisconsin showing that discipline of facing the elements and making sure to get that shoveling done. So what's up, Vidal? How you feeling about what we're going to drop tonight for these people?
Oh, man, I'm feeling pumped. It's all about tonight, woo-ha, bringing you guys
there you go.
Disciplinary side of internet marketing, and we might be a little bit in your face. That's kind of like out of the norm for some of us, right, guys?
Oh, yeah.
But nonetheless, dude, I'm pumped. Can't wait to start sharing some disciplinary type of tactics and cutting-edge Navy SEAL special op armed forces kind of strategies for your internet marketing and your businesses right now that will help you maximize all the resources that you have available for you today. So stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. Hang tight.
Nice. I love it. I love it, Vidal. We're all four of us. We're extra jacked for this one tonight. And I know another guy that's jacked up, as always, the Razor's Edge over there on the left. That's Eddie Aguilar. What is up? I saved you for last, brother.
Thank you. It's because I asked. But I'm excited for tonight. It's good to be here. And tonight is kind of a flip of a switch from last week. And Oh, we all good? Okay. Well, tonight's a flip of the switch from last week. Last week was fun, and that's the whole thing with life. Is kind of sometimes you got to know when to have fun, but you also need to know when it's time to just shut up, put your head down, and get to work. So that's where discipline comes in. You guys are going to get some good value tonight. So please, if you guys are on watching this live, comment. Usually Vidal throws this out. But comment on the comment section, hit the down arrow button, hit reverse chronological. That'll show up in order by time. And help us out here. Throw us some questions, give us some feedback, and let us help you guys out. So back to you, Jay Boom.
Yeah, I'm liking that. Yeah, we definitely, because we're going to go deep when we're talking about discipline tonight. And so we definitely welcome, not only the feedback, but, questions, comments, throw them up there so that as we're doing this show live over the next hour, Eddie or Vidal or whoever can pop on there, check your question, and we can just roll with that. This is about interaction because we want to hear what you guys need, what you gals need to go to that next level and to get to like Navy SEAL elite when it comes to your success in life. And I guess give me a quick intro. I'm Jason J. Boom Leagard. Gratitude is the attitude that gives our dreams altitude, and I'm always grateful for every man and woman that laid it on the line for our freedom. And so our group name tonight hits home a little harder, and that's why we want to rock the camo and everything like that. And speaking of camos, Vidal was kind of giving me some flack earlier before we jumped on. He says, "Dude, you got a tie. What's with the tie going on there?" And it's my camo tie, so I figured throw it up there. But not only for that, but we want to, all four of us, give a big old salute. Throw it up, fellas. Throw it up for boom to one of our Four for Freedom members, Ixiomora Burnett, all the way over in the Netherlands, because Ixiomora is a powerful woman. She is a leader, and she is a soldier for success. And I tell you what, we've all been so impressed by her hard work. She works full-time job like a couple of us do. She's a single mom. She's working on her singing career, and she's putting in the work on her internet marketing training. She is, putting in the work with Vidal's training that he's provided with Four for Freedom in the group. She's made some killer custom images, for her brand. And I mean, this woman, when I say soldier for success, this is no joke, because she has let us know, because of the time differences, she's usually watching these replays. She's getting up early before work to watch our replay before she goes to work in the morning. So, I mean, she was late for work one time because she was watching us being goofy and sharing values. So we want to give her a huge shout out tonight, because she is the type of person that is developing that type of discipline that we're going to talk about tonight. And we love you so much, and we're so happy to see already what you've done, and we can't wait to see, when you start getting medals hung around your neck for all the success that you're going to do for a lot of people. So much love to Ixiomora. Big old heart hugs. I guess what, guys, I'm thinking maybe to start things off, we'll start with you again, Moku, if you don't mind. But why don't you talk about, because we were sharing in our mastermind, and I'll let you speak on it, because you pointed out something about the structuring of your time, and kind of in the same way that military boot camp training is, and it really struck a chord for me and made me remember, I need to start implementing that hardcore if I'm going to get to where I need to be. So if you wouldn't mind sharing that, we'll blast this thing off.
Sure, brother. Thank you. Yeah, but what we were talking about yesterday when we were masterminding, since we're going with the military theme, is especially if you're a new entrepreneur, if you're out there, you're not going to know anything. You're going to be like, what is this? And you're going to have so many different things getting thrown at you. Information overload, if you want to say that. And a lot of people just get overwhelmed so quickly and like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. So they have that shiny object syndrome. I had it. I know I did. I was off to here, off to there. I never planted a seed and really paid attention to that certain thing long enough for it to grow and bloom into something beautiful. So I was here and there, and nothing ever came, no success or none of my goals that I wanted really came to to my life because I was just bouncing all over the place. I had no discipline really to stick to one thing. So in the military, if you guys, some of you out there in the military, some of you not, but they go to boot camp, right? They go to boot camp, and maybe it's 3 to 6 months, I think it is, depending. And these guys have a set schedule from the time they wake up, which is probably like 4 or 5 in the morning, till the time they close their eyes. Every hour they got something different, whether it be physical training. They got school too. They go to school for maybe a couple hours and a certain subject that they study on for that certain hour, and maybe be shooting range, anything to do. They stick to that one thing for that hour, and then if they don't finish that, they move on to the next thing. So that's a perfect example, especially if you're a new entrepreneur and you're into this internet marketing thing, you're trying to figure it out. Stick to one thing. Make a list of something that maybe one hour you can do, maybe Facebook messaging. You can connect with other people on Facebook. Give yourself an hour. If you don't, after hours done, move on to the next thing. Maybe that would be blogging. You want to set up a blog. Set that blog up. Maybe you want to do some maybe personal growth, whether it's reading a book or a training that you want to do. Do that, but don't try and bounce around, like go for 2 minutes here, okay, then I'll go to this thing, because you're never going to get any of your goals done. So if you write it down, give yourself some time. I know a lot of you guys got full-time jobs out there, as I do too, so when I get home, I try to give myself a certain time to do certain things, whether that be editing my videos, and then I'll do that for a half hour or hour, whatever it is. And if I don't finish it, that's okay. Usually I do, and then I'll blog after that. I'll set up an email after that, send it out to my list, and then I'll do that, but I'll do it consistently, and that's what you got to do. Just do those things consistently. Try not to bounce around all over the place. I would say stick to maybe 2 or 3 things that you're going to get good at and that you can do, and the more you do it, you're going to get better and better at it. Same thing in the military. The first guys, when they came their first day, and they couldn't even do a push-up. They couldn't even do 2 push-ups. They were dying. But then they did that every single day. And over the months, maybe it's given 90 days. Over those 90 days, these guys are pumping out 100 push-ups easy, 200 push-ups, running miles like nothing, And that's the same thing with entrepreneurship. You got to stick to that thing, whether it be blogging, videos. Stick to it. Be consistent. Be disciplined with it. And just keep doing it every single day. Give yourself that certain time in the day, whatever that time is for you guys that are open, whether it be in the morning, before work, after work, during lunch, whatever it is, and stick with it for 90 days. You do that for 90 days, you're going to see yourself, not just as an entrepreneur grow, you're going to start to see your brand, your business grow. You're going to see people starting to notice you because they're going to see that consistency and discipline that you got. So, I mean, that's just perfect for the military, just the resemblance that it has with military and being an entrepreneur. That's what we do. We're pretty consistent. We like to keep it that way. And we're constantly trying to grow, as entrepreneurs and, business people, leaders, to help you guys out as well. So just take down those notes and, like I said, write certain things down that you guys want to get accomplished. Figure out how you can get there and stick to it. Give yourself a certain time, and then every single day just keep doing that until you reach that certain goal. So that's that, buddy.
Nice, brother. Well, Moku definitely knows about the discipline when it comes to getting his message out, getting his marketing out, getting his videos. Because this past weekend, Moku was able to get himself in a position, moving forward with his journey to get as part of the Total Lifestyle Alliance. With the work we do with ILN. So we got to give him a shout out because it was his disciplined work that got him in that position to take another shot, take another angle at something, and keep moving forward. So, I mean, we got to give you props, man, because we were stoked to see that announcement, and just, again, your disciplined work paid off, getting you ready for that.
Cheers.
Dude, you even got the green bottle? He's got the green bottle.
I got my green healthy drink going on here. Bro. I'm all green.
Nice. Oh, man. Well, I guess next let's go to Vidal. If you want to drop some wisdom, as you always like to do, let's keep this discipline thing rolling. What can you offer folks? Maybe something on the technology side of things. That kind of relates to the discipline of being in the military.
Absolutely. And I want to take my hat off to our boy Moku. Man, right on, bro. Take my hat off to you. He's been rocking it. It's well deserved because he's consistent. He is a leader through and through. And he is definitely one of the people that, when I first started doing internet marketing, I gravitated towards him because you could see what he was doing. It was so basic, it was simple, and he was consistent. And to this day, he's still a role model for me. You know, he not only is he a colleague of mine, but he's also a mentor. You see, and that is what I wanted to touch on next, is the accountability factor of the armed forces. Right? There's a motto: leave no man left behind. Leave nobody behind. Right? Absolutely, you have to understand when you're fighting. Okay, now I'm not in the military per se. I never was. Okay, but I had a brotherhood, and there were some guys that were kind of slower to pick up the pace, slower to catch up to the program, right, so to speak. And you want to push them, but you want to, I guess, do it in such a way that you're building them up as leaders. And for those of you out there that have been watching us four, you can see that we're all building each other up. No one stands in front of the other ones. We're all consistently trying to push each other ahead, okay? And the only way we can do that is through an accountability system, which in the military, yeah, you have your drill sergeant, you have all these captains that are taking charge, right? They're the ones that are waking you up at, what, 4 or 5 in the morning, making you get dressed when you don't want to get up, yelling at you. So you have to have an accountability system. This is factor number 1 that I want to instill in you guys tonight. Who is your accountability partner? You can see on our panel, these are my accountability buddies right here, okay? But if I myself am not being honest with myself, okay? If I'm not being honest with myself, there's no way that I'm going to be able to grow into that person that I want to be as a professional internet marketer, as a professional entrepreneur, where I'm taking my business to that next level. So I just wanted to touch on this real quickly, just the accountability factor, and I'll throw it back to you, Jason, so we can let Eddie come in there and share some of his wisdom too, as far as I know he's got a lot to say, so I don't want to give him any direction, but I know he's got a lot to share when it comes to discipline.
Yeah, definitely. No, he's had some firsthand experience with that, with his, which I'm sure he'll talk on. But before we get to Eddie, Vidal, I love what you said there. There's a brotherhood, and to insert this real quick, I think it's a nice transition. Is one of my all-time favorite miniseries of all time is Band of Brothers, based on Easy Company in World War II. And when I thought to that miniseries, it reminded me of why, I feel so blessed to be a part of our little band of brothers, the four of us, the Four for Freedom, because that's how that in a very short period of time that we've all connected and started working together and being mentors for each other and accountability partners and colleagues. Like, there's been that, we become a band of brothers to where there's a deeper connection than just like, oh yeah, that's Vidal, or that's Moku, that guy, yeah, and that's Eddie, whatever. It's developed into where we are a band of brothers and we're joined together to get the job done, come hell or high water. And there's days where it gets tough and we're in the foxhole and the shelling is just dropping on our heads in the forest, and we got nowhere to go except just to bunker down and just be like, I know what I got, I know what we need to do. We just hang tough. We've got the discipline, we've got the training, we've got our band of brothers. We know what we need to do, and that's something I know that all these guys can identify with, is why we want to really express this tonight in regards to, we want all of you to be part of this band of brothers and sisters, to join, to lock arms and be like, we're going to go get the thing done. And that's it. So I loved how you touched on that, Vidal. So Eddie, if you want to jump on in and drop some of your wisdom, your hot-shotting experience, it sounds like definitely, very much in the same line of a military type approach as far as the discipline goes.
It was big time, and like I think I'd said it on here before, when the Gulf War broke out back in '89, '90. I thought about enlisting. Well, my dad is a Vietnam vet, Purple Heart recipient. Both of my grandfathers served. My great uncle served. Uncles served, and so I thought it was time to go in. But my dad, I know, suffered from a lot of PTSD as a kid. So he pretty much talked me not into going. He pretty much talked me to not go into the service. And then I ended up into hot shotting. For those of you that don't know, it's a hot shot crew is a 20-person crew. You fight fires all. I mean, I've been to Canada twice. I've fought fires all across the country. But it is a discipline. It is a mindset. It is a team. You're a crew of 20 people, and no different than here or whatnot. There's a lot of similarities, and you had to have the strong mental set. I mean, we had to be self-sufficient out in the woods or out in the desert or wherever for quite some time, where we at least had to have X amount of meals covered in our packs. We sleep on the ground. We had space blankets, ponchos. So we're pretty self-sufficient out in the woods. So it was a big mindset. But as you guys were talking, it triggered a bunch of different things. Was in the beginning, like we are now, here's what's awesome, and I'm glad you gave praise to Ixiomara because she is a freaking action taker. I love that girl. And here's the benefit of the four of us is Ixiomara is a friend of J Boom's. She came in because of J Boom. The value of her coming in, though, is I've been personally talking to her about certain aspects of what we can offer, and certain aspects because of her personal certain things in her life. And that's the beauty of it, is we help each other to help you. And that's the same with the hot shot crew, or that's the same with the platoon, or whatever. You all have their leaders. And in the very beginning, like Moku brought it up, like in boot camp, and I was, those of you guys that might know me or got a good idea about me, I was a big mouth. And I didn't care if you liked me or not. I would push myself harder and harder just so I could push you. And I didn't care if you liked me or not, because out on the fire line, if there's a fire chasing us up the hill, do I have to wait for you to get you up to the top or help you get up to the top, or do you have it in you to get to the top? So there's a lot of mental, you're being challenged mentally, physically, educational. I mean, could you tell what the clouds read? So on and so forth. But here's the main thing. If you join a crew or a platoon as a person self-centered, you aren't going to last long. But if you come in and get rid of the selfishness and are willing to learn, grow, lead, fall back, and help out no matter what, then life, you'd be amazed at what you can do. So yeah, discipline is key. Discipline is real important. So it's the same thing with internet marketing, direct marketing. I don't care whatever it is, whatever you're doing. When you start, that's when you're going to get challenged. And the question is do you have a group? Do you have a platoon? Do you have a team that's going to help you get through those times when you want to quit? So yeah, a lot of similarities, J-Boo.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, as you can tell, I mean, we all take this to heart, pretty deep. We understand the importance of it, even though, I'll be the first one to say it. My discipline over the years has certainly failed me, multiple times. When it comes to whether it be procrastination, it can be too much overwhelm that hits you, whatever. So we're also being realistic with you guys and gals. Like we want to talk deeply on this subject tonight because, at least for myself, I'm talking to myself. It's what I'm doing. I'm being my own drill instructor tonight to say, dude, you need to get up and move your ass and start running, or you need to do those push-ups, or you need to, get on the rifle range, whatever it is. And when it translates into entrepreneurship, it's like, well, then it also relates to fitness too. Like, okay, get your health and fitness back on track so you can be, the best version of an entrepreneur soldier that you can. Because I think that, and I'm gonna go deep for a minute here because this was really on my heart as we got to this show. I think a lot of us out there, we get so pumped up about becoming an online internet marketer, a direct marketer, an entrepreneur, and we fall in love with the dream because we see the freedom and we see, oh, I can have everything I've ever wanted. I just got to put in the work, and I learn these different strategies and techniques, and oh boy, and there's this and this and this, and we get so jacked up. But it's sometimes gets a little too much in the kind of like the la la land approach with our mindset, and we forget, as like Eddie says, like you start out on this journey, and probably right away you're gonna someone's gonna knock your ass down. That drill instructor is gonna pound you, and you're gonna be like, whoa, wait, I thought this was all fun and games. It can be, but as we would definitely have our share of fun and games every Monday night when we do these shows, but there's also a level of like the utmost seriousness. I mean, we are talking about when you go after becoming an entrepreneur, like every one of us have done, no matter how we're going after it, we're talking about our dream, whatever it is for each of us. You're talking about the life or death of your dream tonight. That is why discipline, you've got to get it locked down. You've got to be your own drill instructor. You've got to be like that character in the movie Full Metal Jacket, that guy. Just sometimes you've got to be in your own face that intensely, because many times this is not a game. That you can kind of play it like a game, but it's not. I mean, when you're serious and you're looking to change your life, your lifestyle, your family's life, your kids' lives, your friends' lives, strangers' lives, the discipline has to be there, because without it, like I said, this could mean the life or death of the dream that you had. And the thing is, what kind of hit me hard getting ready for this show is the life or death of our own dream is a heavy thing. But each one of us that goes for it, that becomes a soldier of success, and we go after being an entrepreneur, we are becoming the leaders in the field. And what's more important is we are in a place to where we might be responsible for the life or death of someone else's dream. That is where I think we all know where we're headed. All four of us treat it that way. We think of Ixiomora and of what she wants. We think of Carletta and what she wants. We think about Brad. We think, whoever works with us. That's why we know we've got to take our discipline to that Navy SEAL level. We've got to know we got to be in it, and we've got to take it dead serious, because it's not just about us, it's about the other people we're helping, and that is no small thing. And so getting ready for this show, definitely that kind of hung on my heart, and it was a good reminder for me to kind of take a step back and remember, like, okay, you've been slacking a little bit in some areas. It's time to tighten it up. It's time to get real, and it's time to get after it. So let's. What are you guys feeling? Moku, what are you feeling? Anybody?
Feeling good, man. No, man, you're absolutely good, dude. I mean, being an entrepreneur, it is fun. Trust me, we have a lot of fun, but it takes a lot of discipline. You really got to discipline yourself to actually do everything in life. For me, everything in life that's good, that you see in your dreams or your goals, everything in life that you want is going to take work. It's not just going to come on your lap and be like, ta-da, here I am, good, you wished it up. You got to work for it. You got to do the work, man. I mean, that's plain and simple. You're not going to do the work, you're not going to get it. So whatever you guys want, whatever dreams, goals you guys want, especially if you're an entrepreneur like us, you guys want that time freedom and that time to spend with your kids, watch your kids grow up, spend time with your kids, take your kids on trips, not have to worry about, bills piling up, things like that. You got to do the work first. You got to lay that groundwork. You got to lay the groundwork, and, who cares if it takes you a couple years? It might not. Some people see success a lot faster. That doesn't mean that you can't do it. You just got to keep pounding and doing the work and grinding it out until you actually get there. A lot of people, they quit before they even see success because they think it's never going to happen, and it might be tomorrow. It might be you might have a huge successful day. Every day is a new day to create something, be great, create whatever you want to create. That's how I look at it nowadays. Every day I wake up, I'm like, dude, I can do whatever I want today. I mean, I can create something or I can change myself to be better because today is a new day for me, And then I have the whole day, and I go to sleep, I wake up the next day, I can do it all over again, and just keep doing that, and things are going to start piling up on each other, and you're going to start seeing a lot of abundance, a lot of stuff just change in your life, and man, I love it. You just gotta. It's all about. It's all about discipline, man. You just gotta do it.
Did you hear Moku how much he loves it? He's just like,
oh man, I love it. That's all I got.
I love it, man.
But you look at how much money he's bringing in.
What do you got, Vidal? What are you feeling?
Oh man, I've got a lot to share with you guys, but I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Just to touch on the mindset, because Jason, when you were talking to Moku, when you were talking to as well, there's kind of like this element that we're missing when we're doing something that's brand new. It's almost like we're scared. There's this fear. You lock up. This survival mechanism that we have, okay, where it's either fight, flight, or just freeze like a deer in the headlights. In order for that pattern to break that pattern, interrupt, and get out of that mindset, go back to a time when you were in the zone, when everything was clicking. So, Eddie, you're shaking your head. When you were a hotshot, brother, anybody out there that was in the military, when you were in the military, I know you were fit. That was the fittest you probably ever were your whole life. There's no doubt. Same with a pro athlete. I could talk to any professional athlete and say, okay, when you stepped away from that career, or when you stepped away from the military, or when you stepped away from whatever it was that you were in peak performance state, all of a sudden you went downhill. You gained weight, you got out of your zone, all of a sudden your habits changed. You see, you thought it was the environment that was creating all of this stuff, right? And you thought it was this just the whole I'm in the military, this whole I'm an athlete, and then all of a sudden you leave that and things change, okay? So what I'm trying to get at right now is for you guys watching to focus on not only just thinking that you need the brotherhood and the accountability, but be honest with yourself, because your standard just dropped. Your standards in the military are high, super high. When Eddie was a hotshot, standards were super high. When I was an athlete in high school, my standards were super high. I didn't put no alcohol, no drugs, nothing in me, because people would, approach me. Temptations everywhere, okay? Not numb to that, but my belief was I'm an athlete. I'm not going to put that in this body. So right now, in order for somebody to achieve this peak state, to be at the elite level, your standards, you have to check them and be honest with yourself and look at your standards, okay? So this is where I'm gonna direct and engage you guys out there and ask you right now in the comments below, give us some engagement and answer this question if you could. When were you in peak performance? When were you in such a zone that everything was clicking? And I know it's going to have to do something with your physical fitness. I know that, because for me, it was when I was a basketball player, when I used to play basketball every single day. It was a habit I formed, okay? And then as soon as I took that habit and I stopped that routine, that's when all of a sudden, okay, well, now I have to create these new habits. Well, I created a whole bunch of non-habits that were not helping me. So right now, you need to start creating some new habits that are going to help you every single day get to that standard that you want to achieve. But if your habits right now, your rituals, your routines, your habits are not aligned with the standard that you see yourself and where you want to be, well, then you need to look in the mirror. You need to check yourself. So that's what I'm saying. The solution is go back to when you were in the zone. What were you doing? What were you thinking? Who were you with? You don't need to be with those people in order to be in peak state. You just need to put yourself back in that moment. You see, so now I'm kind of going deep, trying to cut into your psyche a little bit. So just let that marinate and engage with us. Let us know. Let me know right now, when was it that you were like in the zone? Maybe you were running a marathon. Maybe you were a track star. Maybe you were like me, basketball athlete. Let us know. So back at you, Jason.
Nice. I love that. I love that. Because like you said, I think a lot of us along the way, and it's very easy to do and have happen, is we do let our standards fall. And I think that's why it's so fun doing a show like this and getting a little more on the serious side of things. And like you just even did right there, like breaking it down and saying, like, sometimes you got to stand tall and look in the mirror and face the fact that, like, you know what, I've let my standards go to a different place. I'm not at the level I want, and I've let that falter. And it's easy to shift because it's easy to make the shift, but it's hard to be able to stand in the mirror, because if you've let your standards fall and you want that Navy SEAL or that top elite level, and you're way down here because you don't, like Vidal says, you didn't have the daily discipline and rituals of that elite soldier. You were down here just like some slob, just slugging along. That's okay, but that's the first step. If you can just stand there, stand at full attention, look yourself dead in the eye, and you say, you know what, I'm going here. How do I set those rituals? How do I set that discipline? It begins. I'm going to be my own drill instructor, and I'm going to get this done. Eddie, after hearing Vidal share his stuff, maybe you could share what's the specific discipline that translated from your days of hot shotting into your life now as an entrepreneur. Like, whether it be a specific activity that you still use daily, maybe organizational wise, or maybe it's something to do with fitness. I mean, is there something that maybe jumped out at you?
I think if fitness is key, Vidal hit that on cue. But there's several factors because I was listening to Vidal, and some of you might be thinking, well, what's Vidal testing me or challenging me to comment? Well, hell yeah, why not? If you want to change your life, step out of your box, comment on here. That's my point of view. You want to, too many of us, and I've been there, so that's why I'm saying this, so don't think I don't know about this, is we want this great life. We want this, we want that. But yeah, we don't do shit about it. Okay? So Vidal, yes, comment. Do what Vidal said. Comment. When did you feel strong? Be proud about it. And hot shotting was the same for me. And what Vidal was talking about was it clicked with Tony Robbins, and I know Vidal's heard this, and it kind of, in a sense, is a little opposite of what Vidal was saying, but they're all intertwined. This coming from my point of view is, yeah, in the military, you are strong. You're part of community. You're part of a group or whatever. But once you get out, it's tough because your peer group changes. And as Tony Robbins says, you're a reflection of the expectation of your surrounding peer group. So going from sports to receiving, hitting a state championship level to hot shotting, and then getting out of there, to me, this is kind of refreshing. Now, we don't have the physical fitness on this that I did with hot shotting or sports, but that's where it's like, okay, I got to pick up that slack on my own. Okay, but all four of us have talked about it. All four of us, we've talked about health, fitness, mindset. We all know that being healthy and fit is key. Because I'll tell you what, hot shotting, this is where it's similar to military. I've worked 36-hour shifts with maybe falling asleep for 2 hours, and that's from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. because the RHs are too high for anything to burn. Wake back up and then pounding it in 115-degree weather. down in Tucson, Arizona. So you had to have a strong mindset. But your mind only operates if your body's healthy as well. And so a lot of people don't realize that. If you're highly acidic, we'll go into that more if you guys want to learn about it. But if you are not fit and you are not healthy, your mind's not going to operate in a good way. So then your mental toughness is going to be affected. And that's one good thing about Hot Shot was you tested the mental capacity, you tested your physical, and a lot of it geared towards health. And that's it right now. When I catch myself where I'm not thinking clearly, I reflect back on what I've been taking in. And I tell you what, even I ran out of coffee, about 5 days ago. And I was at the grocery store today and was debating on buying more coffee. And I said, you know what? No, I'll go buy 1 cup of coffee at the gas station. In the long run, it's going to cost me, $6 in a week. But I don't need that coffee. That's just that little something that I want. And I'm trying to wean myself off of it. So I need to become disciplined to take myself off of that. So that's where joining a group, that's where you have a positive peer group comes in handy. And that's why these guys are big, major positive influence on me. So back to you, J-Boom.
Dang, man. I'm right back at you, like hearing you talk about that, like weaning yourself off certain things and making those, again, the discipline of like you're in the grocery store and you were like, oh, man, it would be a little less expensive and then I have it all the time and I can just have it at home. And that's a cool, very dated, like a day-to-day grind example of implementing discipline. I thought was really cool, Eddie, because what you did there is not only do you say, okay, I'm not going to use it as much, I'm going to wean it down, I'm going to treat it as kind of like a treat, my 1 cup of coffee, and you even had the discipline to tell yourself in that moment, by me not buying the big old can of it to have all the time and only getting 1 at the gas station, I'm actually going to spend more money. So there was discipline even in that. To recognize, like, it's going to cost me more money to do it this way, but I have to do it. I'm making that choice. This is my part of this little section of discipline. I will pay more in order to have my little treat rather than have it just on a shelf where I can grab it all the time and then it kind of messes with my vibe, with my energy flow, whatever. Man, this is like, I knew we were going to go deep on this one. That was not a concern. So we got good stuff popping off all over here. I want to touch on something real quick if you guys don't mind, because I told these guys the other day in the mastermind, my dad was in the Marine Corps for 4 years straight out of high school. And I remember growing up, and he told me some crazy stories about boot camp. And there's 2 in particular I'm going to share, and I'll make them really fast. One has to do with the drill instructors. And I remember asking him questions about the drill instructor, and were they as intense as you see in the movies and all that stuff? And he says, yeah, if not more so. And he told me flat out that every day he woke up in the Marine Corps during boot camp, he literally was scared. He wasn't scared that he would fail in the activities or the training. He was scared that the drill instructor would literally just take him out, because he was fed up with, Dad not doing a good enough job. I mean, there was that level of respect and fear of the drill instructor, because here's the thing. Okay, you got all these young men and women going through boot camp, and this is high-intensity training, and you've got a drill instructor who is in charge of, setting the course, setting the discipline. Think about the drill instructor. Okay, so you got all these people, and you think about the people that go through boot camp and how badass they are when they get out. Think about the level of discipline that the drill instructor has, because he goes through it all the time with the next crew, the next platoon. He's got to be at the forefront all the time. You want to talk about discipline, that's next level. Because he's got every young punk that's joining the service who thinks he's better than him. And he's got to be able to put him in his place and say, no, I was here first. I've got the ultimate discipline. I'm your drill instructor. You will respect me. You will learn from me, and I will allow you to walk out of here with the right mindset, with the right training, with the right will, with the right just ability to survive and to thrive and to win. So you will do what I have to say. And so you think about that. And the other thing, Eddie touched, well, actually all these guys touched on it. There are going to be times when it's going to get hard, and you're going to wonder, is this where I bail out? You know, was my training not good enough? Whatever. And my dad told me a story, and I don't remember all the particulars. I think it was either in the Philippines or it might have been down in Cuba. But they sent them all out. They were in full gear, the full pack, which I think is like 40 or 50-pound pack of gear. And I think he said it was probably around 110, 112 degrees, something like that. And they sent them out on this long march. And it was like, I think it was marathon level march, you know, at least over 20 miles. And they sent him out, you know, in his full gear. And he talked about that at the end of the day, it was him and 2 other guys that actually finished it out of like all the people in his platoon or whatever in his company. And he talked about how there were multiple times where he saw guys just literally like collapsing. They're just out, done. And they had all the same level, you know, these are all the same level of training, all the same discipline factors. And out of all these guys, 3 walked across the finish line, you could say. And my dad talked about, like, there was multiple points towards the end where the only thing that allowed him to finish it was a mindset of, I'll be damned if I'm not going to be the one that crosses the line. I've seen all my boys and my buddies fall out. That ain't going to be me. I refuse. It's not going to happen. I am going to be one of the guys. If I'm the only one, I don't care. I will be walking across, and I'll finish. And, you know, the pain he went through was intense, and this is going to, fair warning, this is a little graphic, but I think it illustrates the point in a very intense way. He told me, too, because they got the combat boots on, and he finished that marathon, and he, you know, took them off, and he had so many blisters, which happened probably halfway through this march, and he tipped the boot up, and blood just came out because the blisters just kept getting worked over. So think about it, and that's a physical activity. That's, now granted, that's in the Marine Corps, that's back in the day, you know, there's a level of intensity there that probably none of you will ever reach or have to be honest, in civilian life. But just take that mindset of when stuff gets hard for you as an entrepreneur, as a leader in this industry, just think, you know what, I got the blisters in the boot, whatever, I'm going, because I'll be damned if I'm not going to be the one that finishes. And when you get that mindset down and you finish, then you get to help everybody else do the same, because they're going to see he crossed that line. So had to share that. I had to give props to my dad too, because he's a crazy fool just like us.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. If you don't mind me interjecting on that real quick, J-Boom, is when I was hotshotting, it doesn't matter what level you are. There's still that next level you can go. And that's what people, so first of all, you got to be able to have the mindset to not quit. And like your dad, and here's a prime example, and this is a prime example of people in general. There could have been 50 people, and him friends with all 50 or all other 49, and 47 of them drop out. Well, if he were to drop out, that's understandable. That's understandable. 47 already dropped out. And that's a problem with some of us. I've been there, is to where you can justify, well, I was the last one to drop out of 47, or you could have that mindset that I will not drop out. And no matter what level you are, and just a real quick story on my hotshot days was, had a guy on my crew, and I told him, the dude was a badass. The dude was tough. He was just laid back, but the dude can work. He can hike. He can run. But one day I wanted to push him, and I got behind him, and I said, all right, I'm going to push you. I want you carrying the chainsaw. He's like, all right. So I started pushing him up the hill, and just kind of not like being a, not like drill sergeant, almost in a sense like drill sergeant. But once he started slowing down, I'm like, come on, come on, come on. I'm not letting you stop. I'm not letting you stop. Come on, come on, come on. And finally what I did, and I reached on this one, and I said, imagine your wife, because he was a young guy. I said, imagine your wife marrying another man because you did not know how to push yourself harder to get up this fucking hill. Now, excuse me, I don't like throwing the F-bombs, but that's exactly what I said. And that kind of slipped out. But anyways, I did say that. And he pushed, and he screamed, and he pushed, and then he would tail down. I'm like, you need to think about that. Are you man enough to get up this hill? And this was after what I had used was Storm King Mountain, was a fire in Colorado on the outside of Grand Junction where 14 firefighters had gotten killed. The closest one to the top was 10 seconds from the top. So that was a set example of 10 seconds from 10 seconds. Had he got up there 10 seconds earlier, he might have gotten burned, but he would have lived. And I pushed him and I pushed him, and I brought that up with his wife again. And we got to the top. He went straight. I veered off. I'm like, oh, man, we're going to see what's going to happen here. In about 5-10 minutes, I finally went back to him. I said, dude, I'm sorry if I ticked you off. He says, hold on. He says, I never thought how much I have to lose if I don't learn how to push myself every day. And as J Boom said, this is your dream. This is your life you're talking about. So you want to sleep an extra 2, you want to sleep 7 to 10 hours. Okay, well, you want that dream, you want a life to live. Why not cut it down to 6 and find it? This is your life. This is your dream. Because what happens if you don't push yourself beyond where you think you're capable? So hope that, sorry about that F-bomb, that one
Nice.
slipped, that was just,
Hey, that's just DI stuff, you know. They tend to drop those from time to time at boot camp. So it's actually appropriate that of the first time for it to show up in our show, it would be tonight. Well, guys, we're getting close to the hour mark, so why don't we keep this flowing? We'll wrap things up. We'll just each share a final. Let's drop a final kind of Navy SEAL high-level tactic of discipline that either we've already been using or something maybe we just learned that we're looking to implement. So, Moku, let's start it off with you, brother.
F yeah, I'll throw that in there. Let me see, guys. All right. Think of this. Think as your goal. All right. Think of this. Think of this. All right. All right. Since we're talking about the military, right? Guys. All right. You guys, if you think about it, you guys are $1 billion jet plane worth $1 billion. All right. You're the pilot of that plane. You can take it to wherever you want, as fast as you want to go, as slow as you want to go. You can crash it. You can take it to crazy heights, whatever you want to do, all right? So you have all controls of what you want to do, and whatever goal you want to achieve, think of that as a heat-seeking missile, right? You can control that. Once you decide your goal, that's a heat-seeking missile. You got control of yourself, which is the plane, and your mind. You're the pilot of that, right? You decide, all right, this is it. This is my goal. This is what I want. Got my target, whatever target that may be. Get a goal. Figure it out what you want. All right, this is it. Fire. Bam. Once you press that trigger, that heat-seeking goal should be your only goal at that point, and it's gonna keep shooting towards that goal until it hits that certain goal. And that's the way you got to think about it if you want to achieve anything in life. Really, you want to achieve anything in life. You're the pilot of this $1 billion jet fighter, right? You control whatever you want to do. So you can think of it that way if you're thinking in a military, way. That's the way I think about it. So all you have to do is decide, press the trigger, get that goal, let the heat seeker go, and let it hit your goal, guys, and go for it. You can go as fast as you want to hit that goal or as slow as you want to hit that goal. That's totally up to you. So, I mean, how fast do you guys want to see success? How fast do you guys want to, actually live that time freedom life and have freedom in your life and get away from that 9-to-5 job? I know I do, so I'm going to work my ass off until I get there. That's just my decision. I already released that heat seeker. That heat seeker's off. It might be a far target, but it's going. It's going to get there sooner or later, right? So think about that. That's my little thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I'll let the rest of the boys go.
The Hawaiian heat seeker.
I like that, Moku. Actually, I like how you touched on I like how you touched on being the pilot. He's got the heat seeker. I like how you touched on being the pilot of this billion-dollar plane. Like even just that aspect of, you think about a pilot in the military, like those are multi-million-dollar jets. And I like what it made me think of when you said that, gave that tip, is each of us are like a pilot of that, like you said, billion-dollar stealth fighter. So we've got that level of technology within us as entrepreneurs, and we're the pilot. So it's like we got all the goods. We just got to be disciplined in how we fly it. Or like in your example, how we fire off that heat-seeking missile. And it's just, that's a trip to look at it that way, because it brings that power to all of us.
Yes.
Like I'm a billion-dollar stealth fighter. Like of course I can go do what I want.
Damn straight, man.
And nobody can see and nobody can see me do it. What's up? Gratitude for that, Moku. You freaking nailed it as per usual. Vidal, what do you got for the folks out tonight?
Oh man, it's closing out here with the tech stuff. For those of you that want to learn some YouTube cool just ways to set up your tags for your videos on YouTube, you're going to want to access that through the blue button below if you have not done so already. And then you're going to have to sign in twice, and then you can actually be funneled into our private for Freedom group that we have. And we have a ton of other resources for you to utilize as well, and it's all free. And what I wanted to share with you guys in closing for me is just your mental power, your mental capacities, whether it's the fact that you're training to be a Navy SEAL or a special op. It's you detaching yourself from the pain, okay? I know a little bit about pain, by the way, so I can totally relate to feeling so much pain that you just don't want to live anymore. You want to give up. But if you're willing to push through the physical pain, the emotional pain, the mental pain, you're going to get somewhere that very few people go to. And that is what success is. It is being so mentally tough that when everybody else quits and falls off, because the hardest mile in a marathon, it's not the first one, it's not the second one, it's the last one. The last mile is the hardest mile for you to run. So if you are there and you're running your marathon and you want to give up and you're at 25.3 miles already, and you're just like, well, like Eddie said, well, this is good enough for me. Just keep going. Disassociate with the physical pain, the emotional pain, and use your mental toughness to get through it, because that's where your standards come in. That's where you need to leverage that pain and say, okay, think of something so horrendous, like Eddie said, and make that push you. Think of something that, if today was the last day that you lived, would you be okay with the amount of effort that you put in today? Just leverage your own pleasure pain mechanism within you. That's the best advice I can give you. Be numb to the pain, because there will be some in life. There's no doubt about that. That's what sets us apart from every other species. So, all right, guys, I'm all done.
Whew.
Thank you, Jason.
Wow.
Thank you, Moku. Thank you,
Dude,
Eddie, man.
I loved it. Dude, I loved how you said leverage the pain pleasure mechanism. That was straight profound wisdom there. So I appreciate you going deep as we knew we would. Eddie, what do you got for a quick closing thought or tip or strategy?
First, Vidal and Moku, that's some good stuff. So thanks. I love that, both of you guys. But just to touch on both of them, like Moku talking about sitting and being the pilot of your own jet, you're full of fuel. An idle jet does no good. Okay, an idle jet does not serve any purpose other than taking up space on the ground that it sits on. So remember that. What are you doing? Are you being idle, or are you going to get that bad boy up in the air and start taking action? The other thing is let's go back to what Moku said about the jet. Okay, the jet with a quarter tank of fuel, if you want to call it a quarter tank, I don't know how they measure it, but say a quarter tank of fuel is not going to do you no good, or it's going to do you just enough up to a certain point. And with all that we're talking about as far as discipline, you need discipline in your health. You need discipline in your mindset. You need discipline in your habits. You're a slave to habits. Now remember that. That could be a good thing. You're a slave to good habits. If they're serving the greater purpose, then yeah, hell yeah, be a slave to great habits. Now if you're bad habits, then you're a slave to bad habits. So you got to find the discipline to change that. We don't know it all, but we know a lot. So I mean, with the four of us, I mean, our personality is so different. Our experiences are different. We're the same. And so the question is, what do you want out of your life? You know, where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself? So rather than being the one of the 47 that drops out, be that one of the 3 that didn't drop out. Okay, so that's all I can say. You know me, I got a big mouth, so I'm going to cut it short.
Right on, man. I knew you were going to bring it. Well, guys and gals, if you're watching this live, you know, we definitely always appreciate every one of you. I'll close out with a thought that just came to mind. And we appreciate, you know, as Fidel said, make sure, you know, jump on in, you know, click that button, get in part of the For Freedom, get in our private Facebook group. You're going to get awesome free trainings, more coaching from us. You get to get more insight into what we're really about, you know, what we're doing every day. And speaking about what you're doing every day, since this whole show was about that high-intensity discipline, I want to kind of feed off what all 3 of these gentlemen have been talking about as far as the mindset and the motive behind it. And it made me think about what I want to begin doing with my discipline of my daily actions. And for you, let's do the same thing. Pick an amount of time per day to dedicate to whatever your most important action steps are. Maybe it is health and fitness. Maybe it's you are an entrepreneur and you're building a business online. So it has to do with that. Maybe it's your spirituality, time in meditation and prayer. You know, it could be with time with family, whatever. It could be travel. But pick chunks of time. Maybe it's even just half an hour for 3 activities. And you tell yourself, okay, this is my 30 minutes for exercise and fitness. These are my 30 minutes to work on my business after work at night. These are my 30 minutes to connect to my source, to be in meditation, to go on a walk, to be in prayer, whatever it is for you. But when you're in each of these chunks of time, I want you to even forget about how important that discipline is for you and how you're becoming a leader for others. That's what I want your focus on. I want you to visualize in your mind, this is what I'm going to start using for myself, is when I'm in that 30 minutes, that hour, that 2 hours of working on a particular task, as I'm working through it, periodically I want to think to myself, I'm on a battlefield. I'm on the battlefield of someone else's dream. And everything is coming at us. And they're behind me. And they've just taken multiple hits. And their dream is pouring out of them. They're literally almost, and there'd be everything in, all of us would say, well, I got my dream still, so I'm just going to keep going this way. No, I want you to think of the importance of your position as a leader, as someone that's one of those 3 that finished and not the 47 that dropped off. You're one of those people that push that extra 10 seconds, like Eddie's story. I want you to visualize that that's your family member, that's your best friend in the world, that's your wife, that's your husband, that's your boy, you know, your brother, whatever, and that's his dream, and he's reaching up. I want you to reach down there and visualize you grab him or her, and you say, we're coming out of this because we've got the discipline, we're putting in the work, and I'm pulling you out of this, and we're going together. If I have to carry you on my shoulders, no matter what the enemy is going to come at us with, it doesn't matter. We've got the discipline, we've got the training, and we've got our team. We've got the Fort for Freedom. That is what I want. That's what I'm going to start visualizing in my daily activities. I want you to take it to that level too. At least give it a shot. And just know that these guys here, Eddie, Moku, Vidal, myself, J Boom, we are the Fort for Freedom. We don't take it lightly. We are soldiers for your success. Get a part of our group. Let's boom it up. Gratitude, attitude, altitude, 24/7, 365. Fellas, I think we're wrapped. Boom!
All right, we are out of
See you
here.
guys.
Ladies and gents, have a good night.